are on Moss, then master of the Le Mans start and spearhead of the Aston attack. For the 1959 Le Mans race, one lap old, Moss on the Aston leads the two Ferraris of Jean Le Vienne and De Silva Rambler. After the opening shock of battle, the 31 survivors of the field of 53 fight a war of attrition. 17 cars only of the 53 remain, and not one Porsche is left. Now the winner falls in to be submerged beneath a seething mass, eager to acclaim a resounding victory. A victory as richly deserved as it was long awaited.
Ve svém automobilovém závodnickém životě jsem měl asi jako každý 3 velký sny. Ten první byl zúčastnit se závodu do oblak v americkém Colorado Pikes Peak, který se bere jako neoficiální mistrovství světa. A to, že se mi ho povedlo vyhrát hned poprvé, to byla taková hodně velká nadstavba. Ten druhý sen byl hodně velký a téměř neuskutečnitelný, dostat českého jezdce do Formule 1. Ten se mi taky povedl s Tomášem Engem. A třetí sen, samozřejmě jako každý, kdo se zajímá o závody, zúčastnit se legendárního závodu 24 hodin Le Mans. A to, že se nám to povedlo, a povedlo se nám to s vozem Aston Martin, to je samozřejmě sen snů.
So you want to go now to the end of the pit lane, is that right?
For me, Aston Martin's always been my favourite sports car since I was this high. So I've maybe got a sort of a special relationship with it, and it's a very British brand. It's a very traditional brand.
Aston Martin to je část dějin anglického motorismu.
It's not bright red or it's not bright yellow. It has a unique character of its own, which makes it very, very special.
Aston Martin is a very strong brand. Of course, having the passion for cars.
I suppose the name Aston Martin means different things to different people. Everyone has something that immediately comes up in their mind, whether it's James Bond, Le Mans 24 Hours, or for me, just a wonderful road car.
And I think that Aston Martin is also a dream for a lot of people and one of the best cars in the world.
Aston Martin is synonymous not only as one of the most famous cars in the world, but also as the car that agent James Bond 007 drove, and last but not least, the equally famous racing team Aston Martin Racing. Due to its return to the royal ranks of the LMP1 class after 50 years, it is once again becoming a living legend.
Aston Martin had competed in GT1 for many years. We'd always talked about doing a prototype, doing an LMP1 car, but it was only when the regulations for the GT1 engine in the LMP1 car looked to be so good, we said, now is the time to do it. We said, okay, we're still running with our engine, the very same engine that you have in a DB9, we have in the back of a prototype car. So it's not a completely special racing car built with nothing to do with the road car. We took the V12 engine, the GT1 car, and put it in the back of the prototype. And the ability to do that was the thing that allowed us to go into the prototype category.
Vidím jako dneska, když mi na konci roku 2007 zavolal George Harold Chappell, který má na starosti vlastně závodění v Aston Martin Racing, a říkal mi, že se mu hrozně líbí Honza. Tomáše samozřejmě znali už dlouho, protože Tomáš závodil za Aston Martin už dlouho. A jestli bych si uměl představit, že bychom mohli startovat ve voze Aston Martin prototyp v příští sezóně. V tu chvíli jsem si neuvědomil, co to všechno znamená, jaký úsilí finanční, nervový, psychický a všechny ostatní. V tu chvíli jsem si to neuvědomil a samozřejmě jsem to odkejval a pak to všechno začalo.
Our relationship with Tony Charouz and his family goes back a little while now. And it's grown over the years, and let's not forget that it was Charouz Racing that started this entire program. When we started off with a car last year, a basic Lola, and we put the Aston Martin engine in the back, and it was partly through Tony's support and enthusiasm that this entire LMP program got going.
I'm Thomas Enge, I'm from Czech Republic.
My name is Stefan Mücke, I'm from Germany.
My name is Jan Charouz, I'm 21 years old and I come from Czech Republic, Prague.
Stefan is really good in the traffic, but 20 minutes to go, so let's just wait.
The race on the Barcelona circuit was the debut for the Aston Martin racing team, and the final result was sure proof that as a stable and a Czech-German driving team, they were poised to be one of the favorites for the whole season. Right from the start, Stefan Mika pushed the 007 into the lead with some brilliant maneuvering. In fact, the race opened up the possibility they could become champions of the entire series. Driving the Aston Martin factory car in the LMP1 class, Jan Charuz, Thomas Enge, and Stefan Mika won the Le Mans Series opening 1,000-kilometer race in Catalonia after a thrilling battle.
Ono vlastně nejde jet jenom 24 hodin Le Mans, protože ten závod, nemůžete se vsadit vlastně, že pojedete jenom jeden závod v sezóně a když potom náhodou to nevyjde, tak ten výsledek by byl špatný a vlastně přípravou na ten závod je automaticky Le Mans Series.
I think endurance race was very successful end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s. It was clearly on the same level as Formula One, sometime better, sometime clearly on the same level.
There is a fantastic potential with this kind of racing. At the moment, Le Mans Series has always been away from FIA championships.
First of all, I was very pleased to see Aston Martin coming in LMP1, you know, because they were only racing in GT. And so to have a manufacturer coming to race against us, it's very interesting.
Víte, to, že jsme vyhráli první závod v Barceloně, to bylo strašně zavazující a až mi z toho šel mráz po zádech.
Spa-Francorchamps. The 007 car could not take part in Saturday's qualification round due to technical problems. The main reason for the unsuccessful qualification was due to a change of engines. After their win in Barcelona, the team managed to fight their way to a third-place finish after another exciting race. The team's success was reinforced by a fifth-place finish for the other Aston Martin Racing Team car, driven by the trio of Darren Turner, Miguel Ramos, and Harold Primat.
Tak my jsme měli ve Spa obrovský problémy v tréninku, vlastně rozbil se nám motor a museli jsme startovat z posledního místa a vzhledem k tomu 3. místo je super a měli jsme našlápnuto do asi největší prověrky strojů, techniky, jezdců a celého týmu závodu 24 hodin Le Mans.
24 Hours of Le Mans is quite not unique, but it's very special.
This race, Le Mans race, is one of the biggest race in the world. It's the best long distance race.
The Le Mans 24 Hours is a fantastic race.
Le Mans is part of the legend of motor racing.
24 Hours of Le Mans is the most classic endurance race in the whole world.
To je fenomén motorsportu, to je historie, to je tradice, to jsou nádherné závody, to jsou plné tribuny.
I love going to Le Mans. It's one of my favorite events of the year. It's a wonderful atmosphere. Very tiring, of course, and you sort of no sleep, you stay up all night, but it's always great to get to the end of a race, end of a 24-hour race. As you approach the last few hours, you imagine all the things that could go wrong. So when the cars finally cross the line, that becomes a very, very satisfying moment.
Qualification of the 77th year of the famous 24-hour Le Mans comprehensively showed that success in this year's race would clearly be under the direction of the two main giants, Audi and Peugeot. In the overall rankings after qualification, the diesel cars from Audi and Peugeot were holding the top positions. The factory cars from Aston Martin were leading the petrol-driven cars in the preceding positions.
During the race, there is a permanent discussion between the Michelin engineers and the Aston Martin one and the drivers to be able to react and anticipate what is going to be the next set of tires we put in the car. I mean, it's a great cooperation.
During 24 hours, the drivers changed gears almost 25,000 times. They used 13 sets of tires, which means 52 individual racing tires from Michelin, more than 4,000 presses of the accelerator, and around 5,000 reactions on the brake pedal. All of this, combined with 34 pit stops, using 2,500 liters of petrol over 5,000 kilometers. That is Le Mans, the king of endurance races. Thomas Enge, Jan Charrouz, and Stefan Micke fought their way to an amazing fourth-place finish in the 24-hour fight for the racing crown at the Les Ardes circuit. There are talks of a comeback for Aston Martin after their 50 years in their famous Aston Martin DBR1 car.
You know, for me personally and for ProDrive, finishing second is not normally good enough. Winning is what we're about, that's what the business is about, and that's what Aston Martin Racing is here to do. But at the same time, you also have to be realistic. You also have to set yourself achievable goals. And sometimes goals are set because they're part of a series of stepping stones, a way to the future. So you might say, 3 years' time, our target is to win Le Mans, but before we can win Le Mans, we have to learn, and perhaps finishing fourth under those circumstances is a very good learning curve.
Pro nás výsledek v Le Mans je z oblasti snů, protože jsme skončili v první benzínové kategorii, byly před námi jenom dieselové auta, nemohli jsme určitě být lepší a máme před sebou poslední 3 závody, které rozhodnou o celkovém výsledku v Le Mans Series.
The 007 car performed well in the clash for victory at the season's 3rd race at the Portuguese Algarve circuit. After a well-balanced race on the track, they came away with 8 more points after finishing second, which also strengthened the second-place position they held in the overall season standings. Incidentally, the winner of these 2 races in the series, and also the main competitor for Aston Martin Racing, was the famous Pescarola stable.
Already keeping company with the GAC Racing number 40 for what was to be a race-long affair. At the front, the 007 Aston was being pushed to the very limit by Bruno Senna. And that was in turn just 12 seconds to the good of the number 10 Oreca. But after a moment's consternation, he managed to get going after just the slightest stutter. Mixed feelings in the English camp, who were left thinking what could have been. The first ever Le Mans Series race at the Algarve International Autodromo, and it saw a first victory of the season for the Pescarolo Sport number 16.
I suppose a lot of people were surprised at how quickly we got to the front with the petrol car. The LMP1 car is as close as you get to a Formula One car in an endurance race. It's very sophisticated with the aerodynamics, a lot of things to keep on top of, requires a lot more work from the team, and it's been a big learning curve, the transition, but I think George and his team, well, I know George and his team have done a superb job of making that transition now.
This car, its performance is close, you know, it's probably 10 seconds a lap slower. but we have a lot more weight. But the acceleration is fantastic, and the braking is amazing. It's a real special feeling because you get so absorbed and everything comes at you so fast, and with the slower cars, the GT2 cars, you really have to keep your eye on what's going on because it happens so quickly and it takes some time to get used to it. But just the driving experience is magnificent. It's beautiful. Sometimes, like at Spa, when the car is absolutely perfect and you have no traffic to deal with and you're just driving, it's one of the most fantastic feelings ever.
S tím autem se jede úplně skvěle, protože máme všechny možné technologie k dispozici, máme řazení pod volantem, máme kontrolu trakce, máme klimatizaci, aby nám nebylo takový teplo, protože dřív dosahovalo ta teplota v kokpitu až třeba 70 stupňů, 80 stupňů, už bylo venku tepla. Takže s tím autem se jede opravdu skvěle, je krásně hravý a ovladatelný.
Myslím si, že i ta spolehlivost, vlastně, která byla velice důležitá ve všech závodech. Všechny závody jsme dojeli bez jakýchkoliv technického problému. 24 hodinovku Le Mans jsme dojeli bez technického problému, tak to byl klíč prostě k úspěchu, takže to je velice silná stránka tohoto vozu a myslím si, že i designově je to hodně povedený auto.
The LMP car is like a beast. It has a lot of horsepower, which is great, so the acceleration is very great. It has more downforce than a DTM car. But especially the LMP car and especially the Aston Martin is a nice car. It has so great sound and it's just a pleasure to drive.
As you know, Gulf has been in the endurance for a while. More than 50 years ago, we celebrate last year the first win, and fortunately with the GT1 and the partnership with Aston Martin, we were first. Of course, we have signed a partnership for 3 years, and I hope for longer. And why? Because the two brands, Aston Martin and Gulf, blue and orange, famous in the world. It was an iconic wedding into the racing and the development of new products.
Aston Martin Racing confirmed its invincible position again in the Le Mans Series at the penultimate race of the season in Nürburgring. With their blue and orange cars representing the colors of the Gulf Oil Company, they managed to fill the winner's podium. The overall winner of the race was the team driving the car with a James Bond number, car 007, who with this win were able to take their vehicle to first position in the overall standings after gaining full points.
určitě to byl velký úspěch pro nás. Samozřejmě cítíme za ty druhý auta, co jedou s náma v týmu a určitě to bylo super.
Tak závod Nürburgringu se nám strašně povedl, byl z oblasti snů, protože jsme získali všechny 3 pódiové místa Aston Martin Racing. Navíc naše auto 007 vyhrálo kvalifikaci, takže jsme získali plný počet bodů a navíc naše konkurence Pescarolo nedojel pro technickou poruchu. Takže jsme šli do dalšího závodu s náskokem, ale v motorsportu nikdy nikdo neví a nervy pracují na 1000%.
Well, the last race of the year is always a worrying race because, you've done all the work for the year. Everyone says, well, you should win the championship, but as we know in motor racing, it's never over till it's over, and still a lot of things could go wrong. But if I look at the effort everyone's put in, I look at the testing people have done, and I look at the team, I feel very positive towards the weekend, and it even looks like the sun's going to shine at Silverstone.
As I said here tonight at the presentation, to have podiums at every race pretty much was the key to getting enough points to win the championship.
Musíte si uvědomit, o co šlo. Šlo o největší historický úspěch českého motorismu a pro Aston Martin šlo o vítězství po 50 letech. To se málo komu povede, prostě, aby takovéhle závody vyhráli po 50 letech.
Hello?
Hello, this is Jan Charoux speaking. Is this Mr. Shelby?
Yes, how are you?
Very good, very good. It's a great honor to talk to you.
Thank you very much. It's good to talk to you.
I want to start by, since I was a kid, I always used to admire your cars and everything, and we even have a museum with, I think, 2 or 3 of your cars, the Cobra and the Mustang.
Great.
And the reason for my phone call is we're doing this interview for our movie about Le Mans and Le Mans Series this year.
Yes.
And I have a couple of questions, if you wouldn't mind answering them.
That'll be fine.
It's actually a more question from me personally, because we did it in three people, and we go to the gym every day, we keep really fit, and the car was I think is much easier to drive now because we have air conditioning, power steering, and so on. How did you even manage to finish the race in 2 people?
Well, we drove 2.5 hours. It was a completely different situation back 50 years ago because the gearboxes weren't strong enough, the brakes weren't adequate, the engine, you had RPM limits, the driver had to make all kinds of concessions 50 years ago. Now you have much stronger brakes, much stronger metallurgy, and you can drive the cars much harder than you could 50 years ago. We used to do that. It was always, back then, it was always 2 drivers instead of 3 or 4.
That's very amazing. I don't think we could manage to do it in 2 people now.
Silverstone, the home circuit for Aston Martin Racing. First place in the overall standings. This is where the chance for a second historic victory would be born, the chance to defend the conquest of the championships from 1959. The whole team is concentrating on one thing: not to make any mistakes, to avoid technical problems, to finish qualification in one of the front positions, and to finish the race in at least 4th position. In the race for overall victory, there was still one of the teams from the stable of the legendary driver, former winner of the Le Mans Series, Henry Pescarolo. The team of Charoux, Enge, and Mika were able to participate in the last race of the season in the Aston Martin prototype car with a 7-point lead over their closest pursuer from the Pescarola team. The French team unfortunately were set back by various technical problems during the 6-hour, 1,000-kilometer fight, which allowed the 007 car to battle out placement on the winner's podium not only with Team Oreca and Speedy Team Sabah, but also with teammates Darren Turner and Harold Primat driving the 009 car. After a flawless race from the 007 car, they finished in third place, just in front of their teammates Turner and Prima. 50 years after Aston Martin won the World Championship of Sport Car Racing, this British brand was able to repeat their success when they won the Le Mans Series of 2009. Thanks to the Czech-German crew of Jan Charuz, Thomas Enge, and Stefan Micke, Aston Martin were victorious not only in the driver's standings, but also in the classification of teams and brands. This trio of drivers had written an important chapter in the history of Czech motorsport, and also the history of British and German motorsport.
The long battle is over. Aston Martin has become the champion for 2009. The huge celebrations within the team are fueled by the memories of success from 1959, and after 50 long years, the return of the scepter and the golden crown into the hands of Aston Martin. This is the true story of a racing team. Aston Martin is the victor.